Hello, welcome everyone. This is Gamesoverplastic, episode number 21. Kind of a special episode today. I am Midnight. I am joined by one of my amazing co-hosts today, the Lord, Master, and King of Graphics. Hodge, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Yeah, sadly, our other host is not with us today. He had some family stuff to do, which obviously family is more important than our little podcast. So
It
we
is.
figured we'll change up the. We had a different topic plan, but we figured since we have the non Xbox player not on the episode today, we'll switch it up and just do an Xbox episode, talk about some Xbox stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, as the two former Xbots on the show, both of you and I were Xbots at one point in our life, like during the 360 and the early Xbox One era. We are passionate about Xbox. Less so these days, but still passionate. And there's been some news, and we just want to have a fun, casual conversation about the rumored Xbox handheld and about the best Xbox games that PlayStation gamers should definitely play when and if, and probably will
Probably
when
when
they come to PlayStation. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, this is Games Over Plastic, the podcast for the agnostic gamers, even though this is an Xbox episode. Coming to you every other Monday on all podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, every cast. It's also available in video glory on youtube.com/@gamesoverplastic. The link in the audio, if you're on the audio, I always put the link to the video right in the description. Hodge does amazing graphics on all of our episodes. You can always see great art. The reason why I said almost is because on this one we're just going to have one background, like we discussed.
Yeah.
But it'll still be great. It'll be great.
It's just funny the way you worded it. It's like he does good stuff on most of the episodes.
Most of the time it's good. Sometimes it's shit, you never know. But
exactly.
But no, it's going to be a good time. So thank you guys. This is going to be an episode that respects your time. We're not trying to be here for 2 hours. We're going to get in. We're going to get out. We're going to talk about some fun Xbox topics, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into stuff. Let's go ahead and start as we always do, Hodge, with what we are playing. And why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, sure. So first, speaking of an Xbox episode, I have been playing a game that just came to Xbox. It was a stealth drop out of nowhere. My mind was blown when this was announced. I've been playing Death Stranding again. As everyone knows, this was on my top 10 list of favorite games of all time. I adore this game. I played it for I put probably 80 hours or so when it came out on PlayStation, which, if you know me, that is a rarity for me to put that much time, especially into a single player game. Multiplayer, I can have months of time in those, but in a single player game, that's odd. So when it was, for those who don't know, Kojima bought the IP from PlayStation, so they didn't have to keep it PlayStation centric. They were able to put the game everywhere because, as people know, it came out on Xbox Game Pass, I believe last year or the year before, PC Game Pass. And so it was already kind of making its way from the PlayStation. So when they announced this, I was so ecstatic. And it was only $20. It might still be at this time. I'm not sure if that sale ended or not, but it was only $20 for the director's cut version of it. So I hopped on it immediately. I've already put about 15 hours into it again. I love this game so much. I mean, we've gushed about it so much. I don't have to talk about it too much, but the fact that it's on Xbox now is so awesome. And anyone who, if you're just an Xbox gamer or you thought it sounded stupid when it came out, the fact that it's only $20 to go into that game is a steal. So I would suggest everyone check out Death Stranding on Xbox now that you can.
Yeah, I totally echo those sentiments. If you are an Xbot out there and you didn't play Death Stranding for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a PlayStation, maybe you thought it looked like a UPS delivery simulator and you thought it looked stupid. That was my first impression too, but I gave it a chance and I'm so glad I did. I totally echo everything you said. We talked about this before. This is one of my favorite games of all time too. Xbox players, if you have not played this game, you owe it to yourself to play this game. I think almost everyone would love this game. It is just a total vibe. Like, it is just so fun delivering those packages and unraveling the story. The world is beautiful. The music, when it kicks in, is phenomenal. It's just so immersive. A lot of people, Hodge, they say this is a great podcast game. and it probably is. But I said this before, I didn't listen to any podcast. I just felt so immersed in the world. Like I didn't have any audio on.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed the game.
Yeah, when I was playing through it, I didn't listen to podcasts, but after you beat it, you can still go do, deliveries and all that. You still have the world to just
Mhm.
explore. And so I was doing podcasts at that point, but when I was initially playing through it, when you're done with a delivery and you start just the descent down the mountain and all of a sudden it zooms out and low roar kicks on and you're just like, "Oh my god, this is it's I describe it as therapeutic. It's one of those games where, and people who know me, I've talked about this before. I've never cared about Metal Gear Solid. It's just never been a series I cared about. I've tried the first one many times. I just can't get into the controls because they're just so jank at this point. So I've always wanted to try those HD ones that are coming out, those in packs, but I just haven't gotten around to them. But I'm a Kojima stan now because of this game. And it's weird because it's a game I don't I suggest people play it, but I always have the caveat of I understand if you hate it. Like because it's a very specific game. And because if you're like you want a fast-paced, action-based, ADD riddled fucking game, this is not the game for you. It is a very slow and every movement it matters in the game, and it's very very like therapeutic. It's very hypnotizing at times when you're just trying to get to that spot and you see the time fall come in, or you're going through an enemy area, or if you just want to build roads. And like I just love it. Everyone should play Death Stranding, but again, I understand if you don't like it. There's people who've played it and they're like, it was boring. The Donkey review it's like one of two reviews I've ever watched by Donkey, but it was hysterical and it made the game sound terrible, and which is why I didn't play it right away, because I think like IGN gave it a 6 or something. Like that's kind of where it floated. It was in like the 6-7 range by a lot of reviewers, and then there was obviously some people said 9-10 kind of thing, but it kind of floated in that like it's okay. So I felt okay passing it, but then eventually I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play it, and the rest is history. I love this game. So everyone, it's on Xbox and PlayStation, wherever your preferred console of choice is. Play Death Stranding, definitely.
Do it.
Yeah. But the other game, I figured I'd talk about this one second, just because you're playing it as well. Is I'm still playing Black Ops 6. I'm now the second Prestige. I've been playing it a lot, so it's a whole lot of fun. I don't really have to retread anything we've talked about, but the one thing I do want to say is, now that I have Prestige since the last time we talked about the game, is don't be afraid to Prestige, because if you remember, it's back to the same old Prestige style it was back in like the COD 4 Modern Warfare 2 kind of days, where it resets everything, but your skins do not reset on your guns, nor do your attachments. You just have to get to the level where that gun unlocks and you get it again, but you have everything with it. So like if you're grinding for gold, I have diamond on all of my marksman rifles already. I love using marksman rifles. And so I already have diamond on them, and I've prestiged, and you still have it. So if it was the case of you grind to get diamond and it resets at prestige, I would have never prestiged, because I'm not putting that much time into getting these guns done, especially the guns I hate, only for it to reset. So I just got to say that if you are afraid to prestige, don't be. And you get, when you prestige, you get to keep one thing. So my first time I prestiged, I kept my DM10 because that's the best marksman rifle in the game. And then this time, when when the wild cards unlocked, I'm going to unlock the what is it? Not overkill.
Perk greed.
It's the one where you can it's the one where you can have all the attachments on your gun. I love that one because it's so nice. It just makes your gun a laser, basically, when you take away all the recoil with all your attachments. So I'm going to get that for this prestige. And so it's really cool that basically it's because there's 1,000 prestiges in this game. Like it ends at like 10 is where the main ones end. But after that, every 100 you can get actually the emblems from the old games, the prestige emblems. So I'm excited to get those once it gets to like 100 eventually. But so it's really cool. And so every level you're going to get to keep something. So by the time you're level 50, you have 50 items already unlocked when you prestige. And so that's really cool. It kind of incentivizes the prestige as it goes on, where it's going to be quicker and quicker because you're going to have more and more to work through your prestige. So but I'm loving it. This is my favorite Call of Duty probably since 4, if I'm being honest. Like I'm loving my time with this, even though there are obviously games we get sweated on by nerds. But it's just so fluid. It's so much fun. I adore this game. And if you fell off Call of Duty, I would say hop back on with this one, especially with it being on Game Pass. So yeah, that's what I'm playing.
Right on, right on. Good stuff. Yeah, I also have Black Ops 6 on my list, but my experience has been a bit different because I actually have possibly dropped the game. Um, I play a lot with my friend DLB Debo.
Mhm.
He's been on my channel before, and as I mentioned, like he's a super good player. I'm a decent player, like I said, like around a 2 KD player. I'm not gonna hype myself up like I'm God's gift to COD. I'm not. There are people way better than me, which is evident in my lobbies, and which is why I'm not having that much fun because every single lobby that I play is literally a sweat fest. Like, and we've just been getting a bit frustrated with the movement mainly. Like the movement is
Mm.
so fast, it's so cracked
Mhm.
out. Like you could know that a person is coming and you could be pre-aimed and ready to take them out, and you still don't have an amazing chance necessarily to take them out because they can slide so fast around the corner, jump
Dude,
to a 360 spin, quick scope you, and then slide out. It's like freaking insane, dude.
I will
Um,
say, I will say with this Call of Duty, the fact that you gain speed when you slide is fucking stupid.
oh,
That's
it's
my
so
biggest
fast.
that's my biggest complaint about the game is that yeah, you have all these cracked out teenagers just sliding across the map because it just speeds them up basically. And it's just like, so I understand that part of it. It is a little more ADD than the old Call of Duties were. It's just so fluid that I don't mind it as much. Because like other Call of Duties, when they've been cracked out, it's just because someone has their speed or like mouse control set to like max speed, so they can just. So that's really, but yeah, I understand that complaint definitely about this one, but yeah.
Yeah. And also, as a small random note, this is not at all why I put the game down because I don't care, but it is something that I've noticed, from watching like some random videos on YouTube and stuff. Like PC players kind of have an advantage
Yeah,
in Call of
I
Duty
guess so.
because they can get that. There's some like EQ app that they can get where they can adjust the audio so that they can hear footsteps really loud.
Oh my god.
And you can't do that on console. So like it's just an advantage. Yeah, it basically lowers the highs, like the gunshots and the explosions, so that the footsteps are real loud, so they can just kind of sound whore you.
Yeah,
But that's really has nothing to do with why I quit. Just a random aside. But
yeah, I remember back, I think it was like early on Fortnite, you used to be able to turn off crossplay, but just with PC. So you could remove PC from your lobby because it's such an advantage to be on PC. Because I
mhm.
mean, PC players like complaining like, "Oh, you get the aim assist on the controller." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's so much easier to point a mouse to someone than it is for you to move the joystick to someone. It's so much easier." And
Yeah.
so yeah, I miss when you're able to remove PC from your lobby, but now it's either crossplay or no crossplay. There's no nuance with it, which sucks.
Yeah. Yep. So that's Black Ops 6. It's not a bad game. I think it's a good game. I do think it's a good
Yeah.
game at
It's
its
their
core,
best
but
it's like their best Call of Duty in a long time in terms of like how it plays for sure.
yeah, but for me and my friend, we're just not really enjoying it because we're in the ultimate toxic sweat fest lobbies. The movement is way too cracked out, and it's just too much. It's too chaotic. So brings me to my next game that I'm playing is actually once again X Defiant. We went back to X Defiant last night because we were like, yeah, let's go back and see what's going on. I was happy to see that people are still playing this game. We found lobbies quickly and without problems, and it wasn't the same people every game, so that's good. And it was refreshing because people were moving at like a normal, reasonable pace. You can slide at that game, but you're not sliding at like 50 miles per hour. It's like a normal
Yeah.
slide. You actually kind of slow down, like with the dirt, like you normally would.
Yeah.
And you can actually see enemies very well in that game because of like the red outline on people. And it's just a lot more casual in that game because there is not skill based matchmaking. We had a lot of time. I went from like getting sweated on and not doing very good in Call of Duty to dropping 50, 60 kills again in X Defiant. So it felt good. It was nice.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm the opposite. I was getting sweated so hard in X Defiant because as you know, when you first started, you had like the welcome playlist where it was
mhm.
basically one up until like level 25 or whatever. And so that one was a lot of fun because there was a lot of people trying out the game. So I was able to whoop ass in, in that one. But once you get out of that playlist, I started getting just absolutely destroyed and I completely fell off. But isn't this game ending? Or was that just like a rumor?
I hadn't heard that. I hope that that's not the case. I didn't hear that. I have always heard people say that the game may not be doing that great, which is sad to me because I think it is a
Yeah,
great game,
it
especially for people who
is.
are like good, like big shooter fans. I think
Mhm.
that they owe it to themselves to try it. It's a free game.
Yeah, it
Um,
was it was like I know we said this on previous episodes, but it's the most Call of Duty feeling not Call of Duty game that I've ever
mhm.
played. Like it felt like classic Call of Duty, like the Call of Duty I liked. And so that's what sucked about the matchmaking whooping my ass is I loved playing the game. I just hated getting destroyed while playing the game.
Yeah, that's the issue with no skill-based matchmaking is that you will get really high skill lobbies from
Mhm.
time to time. Even us, we run into lobbies where we get stomped out too.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's an amazing player, and I'm a decent player, and we still get stomped out sometimes. Like you will run into some sweat for sure.
Yeah.
There's no safe gatekeeping. But
Mhm.
it's just overall, I just enjoy it. I like the maps. I love the visibility. I wish Call of Duty would do like that faint red outline on people. Would make it so much easier to shoot and
Mhm.
kill people. Um,
Mhm.
but anyways, I'm not going to go too much into X Defiant because we've talked about it before. I will just say that they added the people from Far Cry 5 New Dawn. It's like a new class.
Mm.
And their special perk is each kill you get, like you start shooting and reloading a little bit faster, you can kind of get more cracked out, which is
Mm.
really cool. And also their ultimate is like this buzz saw thing that you shoot at people and it bounces off walls and it goes through and kills people. So that's pretty fun.
That's sweet.
Um, yeah, so that's kind of like their version of kill streaks. You got like the specialist
Mhm.
ability, and everyone gets it. Like you don't have to be like some amazing beast player that goes on like a 12 kill streak. You just have to
Yeah.
play the game, and you'll get at least one of those per game. So that's
Dude,
cool.
that just reminded me when I was playing Call of Duty. I was playing Call of Duty yesterday. There was a guy who got 3 chopper gunners in a single game. I was like, I hate this person so much. I hate
Yeah,
everything about this person.
I understand. All right, let me go ahead and move on here because we've talked about these. Let me go on to the next
Yeah.
game that I am playing. Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Hodge's favorite game. I've been playing this game. I'm really enjoying this game. As I've mentioned before, I'm not going to go heavy into it. I haven't beaten it yet. I'll save my thoughts for the most part for when I beat it. I'll just say that I am 28 hours in or so. I'm level like 28. The synergy there. I'm at a point where I think I'm at the end of Act One, and it's like this crescendo. It's a big like boss battle, a siege on a castle. There was a cool choice where I got to either punch a dude or talk him down and have them join you. So that was kind of cool, like a little branching path there. I chose the good path. I chose to talk and get him on our side. Which is cool, but yeah, you can also just straight up punch the dude and take over. So but yeah, no, it's I'm having fun. I think the story is pretty good. I think that the stupid trans stuff is dumb, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any of it yet. I
Mm.
must not be far enough yet. I'm in Act One. I'm 20 some hours in, but I haven't seen one mention of trans other than the character creation mirror thing. Like even the character Tosh is the character who's supposedly, I guess, non-binary. Um, she hasn't mentioned it, and in fact, people refer to her as she, including her own mother calls her a she. So I don't know when or what. I don't know. Part of me was like, did they patch this out? But I don't think they did. We would have heard about that.
No,
That would
they
have been
probably didn't.
controversial in its own right if they patched it out. So
Yeah,
it must come
Grums would
up
have gone on
later.
a fucking victory lap.
It must come up later. But for now, like they haven't mentioned any of that. But I'm enjoying it. The combat is super fun. Super fun action combat where you can like you could pull up the menu kind of like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, like it's got the active pause. You can pull up the menu and then queue up your abilities, and they synchronize together. So, like if you use this ability from one companion with this ability with the other companion, it does like a big weakening and explosion, like detonation on them, which is super cool. But yeah, that's it. I'll leave it there. When I beat the game, I'll have more thoughts. But
Yeah,
it's not a bad game. I
yeah,
like it.
I'll do the politic thing of name one nice thing about your opponent. I'll say this about Dragon Age is even though the characters like the character models look like we have Fable at home, the in what I've seen of the environmental graphics are stunning.
Mhm.
And I've never heard anyone say anything bad about the combat itself, other than Skill Up said that he decreased the difficulty purely because on higher difficulties, enemies are very spongy and he was
Yeah.
getting tired of it. So he decreased it just to not have to have such spongy enemies. But the gameplay itself, I've heard that the combat is really fun.
Yeah, the
So
combat is really genuinely fun. Like when I get
yeah.
into a fight, I get kind of excited. I'm like, "Oh, here's some
Mm,
enemies. I get to beat their ass."
nice.
Um, and yeah, the environmental graphics and worlds and stuff are really beautiful and well done. So yeah, that's for sure.
Nice.
Some of the characters are kind of like like almost like Fortnite looking graphics. Like,
Yeah, that
um, yeah, some
not
of them
good.
are a little bit suspect, but
Yeah.
um, overall, it's a good game. I will say one complaint I have real quick is that they don't have any indication on the quest about what level the quest is, and they need to patch that in and add it because I will literally like I'll do a quest like it's like oh go fight this demon boss, right? And
Mhm.
I'm level 27 whatever. I'll go to the location and the freaking demon will be level 40. Yeah, I can't kill
Oh.
level 40. He'll beat my
Yeah, what the
ass.
fuck?
Like I'm like, so I just wasted my time. Thanks, game. Like you could have
Yeah.
put an indication on here that this is a level 40 quest. I'm sure they will probably patch that in, but I don't know why that was never caught. Like, come
Yeah,
on now.
even like Assassin's Creed has been doing that forever. I remember
Mhm.
there's a lot of things. It's like, oh, you can go do this mission, but it's level 5 or whatever, and you're level 3. And I remember that kind of shit. So yeah, it's weird that they wouldn't include that to let you know, like, you're gonna have to wait on this mission. Like, you can't do it yet.
Yeah, that's been a slight frustration. It's never a huge deal because it's not like you're not like running for like 10 minutes to get to them. Usually, like you fast
Hmm.
travel and then you run for like a minute, if that, and you're there. But it's still a
Hmm.
little bit of frustrating. So
Yeah.
hopefully they patch that. But anyways, last but not least, I beat 13 Sentinels, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna save the conversation for this game for next episode when Sean is here because this is a Sean game, and I want to talk about it with him. So I'll just say that I beat 13 Sentinels, and if you want to know my thoughts, I liked it. But stay tuned to next episode when Sean's back, and I'll get into it some more. We'll talk about it. All right.
Sure.
So that's that. That's what we are playing. Great segment. Let's go ahead and get into some questions, shall we, Hodge?
Let's do it.
You want to go ahead and read the questions today?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go ahead and start with Meatball. Go ahead.
So yeah, since Sean's not here, we're gonna have a shorter episode. So we figured, hey, let's read a couple of questions just instead of one. So first one, yeah, is from our buddy Meatball, who says, in honor of the 21st episode of Games Over Plastic, what did you guys do on your 21st birthday, if you remember? Do you have any crazy stories? Midnight, do you have any fun stories from when you turned 21?
So I'm so old that I can barely remember my 21st birthday. I actually have a couple memories though that are adjacent. First of all, I can remember on my 18th birthday, my mom was like, she bought beer and like she was giving me beer and we were drinking and we were out at the lake. Like she lived on Buckeye Lake in Ohio. We're out
Mhm.
at the lake drinking, and my mom's like, "Yeah, he's 18 now; he can drink." And my aunt, who was like a Columbus police detective, she was like, you can't drink till 21." And it was like, oh, I thought it was 18. That was she didn't care that I was drinking either.
Well,
Who cares? It's family, but
I think if you're in your, I know this is, I think in Illinois law, at the very least, I'm not sure about everywhere else, but if you're with your parents, you can drink underage as long as you're at home with them.
mhm.
I know in Wisconsin, you can even go to bars if you're 18, if you're with your parents. So
Yeah,
there might be something like that in Ohio. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, yeah, my parents are old enough that when they were in college, Illinois was 19 to drink and Iowa was 18, and they went to school where I live on the border of Illinois and Iowa. So they would just go over the river, get drunk, and go back to school, like
yeah.
because it was legal back then.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that was a funny memory. And as for 21, I literally don't remember what I did. I know there was one year where I went out on the boat with my uncle and my brother and stuff, and we grilled out and we landed
nice,
on like this little island and grilled out and we drank and stuff, and that was good times. I don't know if that
nice.
was exactly 21, but how
Yeah,
about you, Hodge?
yeah. My 21st birthday, I was yeah in college. Obviously, that's what age you are when you're 21. I remember my best buddy in college at the time. I haven't talked to him in years. I should try to, but his birthday was the day before mine. So every year in college, we would just have a 2-day bender for our birthdays. And so our 21st birthday, he showed up to my house. I can't remember. I was busy with something on his birthday until the evening. And so he shows up to my apartment the night before I'm 21 and the night that he's 21, and he's fucking wasted already. And he just hands me a bottle of Crown Royal and he's like, let's go to a party. And so we go to this party, we're drinking a bunch. And then right at midnight, me and my buddy, a different buddy of mine, my roommate at the time, we go to a gas station just to buy a case of beer because we're like, we have to. It's midnight of my 21st birthday. We have to buy a case of beer. So we went and bought like a case of PBR or whatever. We went home, drank, got wasted, played beer pong with a couple of friends. And then the actual day of my birthday, when we woke up, I actually went to class. I was still a little drunk because I didn't sleep very much, but I had to turn in a paper. So I show up to class. I'm still kind of a little wobbly, and I might have even had a fucking hair of the dog in the morning. I'm not sure. But I'm in class and she's like, all right, I'm turning your papers. And we're all turning in. She goes, isn't it your birthday? I'm like, yeah. She goes, go home. I'm like, okay. And so I just left class and just started drinking a bunch. And then, yeah, I went out to the bars that night because I believe it was my birthday was a Wednesday. So yeah, we would have just had a normal party. And then Thursday was the night where all the bars had deals, like dollar beers. And so that the day after, we went to the bars and got completely wasted. And then I went to Cedar Rapids with my brother and his friends that weekend, and we just bar hopped in Cedar Rapids. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then that continued basically until I was 25, and then I finally slowed down on drinking. So,
All right, there you go.
21st birthday. It was a hell of a fun time, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next question here, I guess I'll read this one. It's super short. We have GJ, our boy. He writes in and says, Hodge and Midnight, are you an Xbox? What do you think?
No, just because you cannot play games on me. I'm maybe Xbot. You can call me. You can accuse me of that because I love my Xbox. But no, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not an Xbox. That is, okay. I'm not included in the marketing. So
yeah, that was funny though. I also am not an Xbot, I am an Xbot, kind of reformed. But no, I'm not an Xbox. Although I can be. I do have one T-shirt which has an LCD screen on the back, but it only plays Redfall. So you can play Redfall on the back of my shirt. That's a joke, obviously.
I will.
Speaking of shirts, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, Buc-ee's. You got I went to party Buc-ee's. Anyone can vote for or whatever.
Yeah, I get Buc-ee's 2024, and on the back, I'll put a picture if I remember. I'll try to in the video version of the back. But yeah, it says Buc-ee's 2024, a party everyone can join or something.
You're gonna have to go on a mission for me next month. You're gonna have to go to Buc-ee's and see if they have a Santa Buc-ee's plush one, and then if they do, I'll pay for it, and you're gonna ship it to me because I have the Halloween Buc-ee and I have the normal Buc-ee. But yeah, they do have it. Oh,
yeah, I think they do.
For me.
I think they do have it, Hodge. Look,
that is amazing,
dude. It's so funny. If you guys aren't watching the video, you should be. I got Santa Buc-ee right here. Of course, I had to get it. It's so funny. I have the normal Buc-ee right there, right?
Yeah.
These plushes are adorable. But I spent like $125 as you do when you go to Buc-ee's.
Yeah, you have to.
It's par for the course. You just have to.
Yeah.
So I bought all my stuff. I'm walking out of the store carrying my bags of stuff. And as I'm walking out the store, I pass the bin with this in it. I have already checked out, but I had to get this.
Yeah.
So I grabbed this and I went back to the checkout, bought this, and then walked out.
All right. Since you already went and got it, I'm not gonna make you go out of your way. I'm gonna text my brother though. He's gonna have to go out his way and buy me one because I need the Santa Buc-ee because I have the Halloween Buc-ee and I have the normal Buc-ee. Oh, and I have the Uncle Sam Buc-ee. So I need all of the Buc-ees. That's my goal.
Look at his booties.
Got his little Santa boots
on. Little elf boots or whatever. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, text your brother and see if he can do it. If not, I mean, I'll probably go to Buc-ee's before Christmas, but no guarantees. If I do, I'll grab you, but no guarantees because it is a bit of a drive for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. The closest one from Austin, I think, is 40 minutes. So my brother would have to go out of his way too. But they have watermelon ices, which are fucking amazing there. So I'm just gonna convince him, like, hey man, you need to go get a watermelon icy, and then he'll drive for one and then get me a Buc-ee.
Everything's amazing at Buc-ee's. It's heaven,
God. Dude. Literally heaven. Their food is amazing. I wonder if the one in Wisconsin's opened yet. I can maybe go to that one. Because I'm gonna be in Madison the day after Thanksgiving because the Gophers play the Badgers up in Wisconsin. So I'm gonna go up because my older brother went to Minnesota, so he's a Gophers fan, and his wife went to or she didn't go to Wisconsin, but she grew up in Madison, so she's a Badgers fan, and so the rivalry is alive and well in that household. So we're gonna go up to that game the day after Thanksgiving. So yeah, maybe I'll see if it's open up if that one's open, I could go to that one, but. If not, I'll have to bother my brother to grab me one. But Yeah. The other thing before we move on to the third question is I have to just really quickly say that this is an Xbox marketing. It's fine. I don't mind the marketing, like, oh, a phone is an Xbox, your laptop's an Xbox, this, that, and the other thing is an Xbox. But the fact that they have T-shirts that say this is an Xbox or this is not an Xbox is the most cringe fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, which sucks because if you go to the actual like Xbox shop, their apparel, especially their Halo apparel, where it's like a fucking like assault rifle shirt. Like they are such cool shirts. The fact that they have this makes me want to burn down Microsoft because it's the stupidest, most cringe fucking marketing I've ever seen in my life.
That is stupid. Why would you wear a shirt that says this is not an Xbox? Like,
Yeah,
come on now. Do better.
What? Why?
Don't buy that stupid shirt. Buy Death Stranding instead. There you go.
Yes, buy Death Stranding. Yes. But yeah, let's move on to that last question.
Yeah, this is a deeper one. Yeah,
is
get
this
into
from
it.
our buddy Stevie Walnuts?
It is.
Okay, because it says Steve, so I was confused. I was like,
Stevie.
that's not because my name is also Steve, and I was like, did I write this? But no. So our buddy Stevie Walnuts says, how much do you think that devices like the ROG Ally, and Steam Deck are influencing design for the next Xbox? Would an Xbox console and potentially handheld with access to PC storefronts and thus PlayStation games on PC nullify the discussion surrounding Xbox games going to PlayStation? All right, there's a lot in that question.
I think this is actually just kind of a great segue into the topic of discussion anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Because we're not doing any like lists this week. We're just kind of having a discussion about. So for those who don't know, Phil Spencer just gave an interview recently where basically he said there's no red line for games going to PlayStation, which basically confirms Gears of War and Halo will be coming to PlayStation eventually. No matter whether it's just the Master Chief Collection or if it's the rumored Halo remake, it's going to go to PlayStation eventually. So that's kind of what we're talking about. But as for, I guess first we can talk about the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck influencing. I think they are, because especially since Xbox is ditching, not totally ditching, but they're kind of confirming it's not about Xbox. It's not about exclusives. I think their next hardware will be more PC-ish, as long as it has. So as people know, I have the ROG Ally. I really like it, but it's a PC and it has constant updates. It has constant background apps you have to fucking use and all this shit. It's not just open the Xbox app and it's Xbox. I want an Xbox handheld, which is basically the Xbox UI on the TV on the Xbox or on the handheld. That's what I want. I don't want a PC I have to work around and open an Xbox app on it. But I could see them doing basically an ROG Ally that's Microsoft branded in a way. I could see that, but I really hope it's more of like a Switch where it is its own console that's, whether it can plug into a more powerful Xbox and do it that way, or like a dock, or if it is just its own handheld. I want it to run like an Xbox. I think they will take influence from the Steam Deck and have the ability to have Steam on it, or Epic Game Store, or PlayStation, or whatever. I think they want to aim for that, but I hope they don't, because I would really rather just have a mobile Xbox than a mobile PC that has Xbox capabilities. What do you think about the handheld?
First of all, shout out to our boy Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace to his Discord access to a particular server. But anyway, Stevie's the man, a fellow Xbot. The Xbot in chief, maybe, if you will. This man's been defending Xbox forever. Shout out to him. And he's been in the trenches. But so I think this is a great question, very deep. The ROG Ally and Steam Deck are great devices. I get where you're saying, though. I would like something that is more uniform, kind of like the Switch or the Steam Deck. I think is pretty uniform. I think it basically just runs Steam OS, play Steam games. Yeah. So something like that for Xbox, I think would be awesome. I would love to see Steam on it too, though. I think that would be awesome. I would love to see, like, you boot into it, it boots into Xbox. By default, you're in Xbox, right? So you got, just like on your series, you got the dashboard, you got the store, you got Game Pass, you can download games, you can play them natively, or you can stream them via xCloud. Boom, awesome. But I would love for you to be able to pull up a menu and launch Steam and then Steam will open in like big picture mode, if you will, or whatever, like the controller version. And then you can access your full Steam library, and you could play all these awesome. You would love that, Hodge, because you're the indie
Yeah.
guy. Steam has so many great indie games, dude. You'd be in heaven. And you could
Yeah.
just download these great indie games and other games via the Steam app and just play them natively right on the handheld. And it would have, I don't know how they would do it with achievements because Steam has their own stupid achievements, but who really cares? I just want to play the games. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that would be fantastic. I would love to have just Xbox and Steam both on a handheld that's reasonably powerful. Maybe like as powerful as the PS4 Pro, or something would be freaking sweet on a handheld.
I
Series S would be really sweet if they could do a Series S
Yeah.
handheld.
I think they could get that done because the
Yeah,
ROGL is
possibly
pretty powerful and it's a handheld. So
it
yeah,
is.
you're making a good point there. With I wouldn't care if it has PC stuff. It's just the fact that when you boot up the ROG Ally, it's literally a PC desktop. I don't
Yeah,
want
we don't
that.
want we don't want Windows.
Yeah, it needs to look more kind of like a Switch or a Vita kind of thing, where you can go to Steam or Epic or Xbox or whatever, but it needs to be through like its own UI, not a fucking PC on a handheld, because I can't stand that thing for that reason. I love my ROG Ally, but all the PC part of it I fucking hate.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Like, so it boots into Xbox, right? And you got all your stuff, but then you could just hit the little Xbox button or menu button or whatever, and it'll pop up the normal Xbox dashboard, but one of the tabs will be Steam. And when you click that, it'll launch into Steam native. And boom, you'll have your whole Steam library, all the controller supported games anyway.
You wanna
And yeah,
you wanna know how they could sell this thing as many copies as there are Switches in the wild? If they
how?
bring back the Blades menu on the handheld.
The blades.
That would sell so much. Like, look at the 30th anniversary PlayStation. That thing sold out immediately just because it's PlayStation branded. You bring back the blades on that baby. Oh, you got yourself a fucking seller.
They could do an updated version of the blades. I think there's a lot of nostalgia around the blades, but when you actually look at it, it's not as great as we
Yeah.
remember. They'd
The
have to really
the
modernize and clean it up.
Yeah, the menus got better as the 360 aged, and the blades definitely weren't that good. But it is the nostalgia. But that's the same thing with the PlayStation One PlayStations. It's all nostalgia. It's not any
Yeah.
better. It's just gray. But
Yeah.
it sold me. I bought a goddamn Portal because of it. I don't even want a Portal, but the fact that I'm like, you know what, I could play PlayStation games handheld while I watch TV. That's pretty cool. But I wasn't going to get one until it dropped price, until they introduced the 30th anniversary one, and then my monkey brain said, "Ooh, shiny, me want," and so that's what happened.
Yeah, so Phil came out and he basically outright admitted what we already kind of knew, that they are working on a handheld. He said it's a few years out still though, but it's
Yeah.
coming. What do you think that they're going to do? Do you think they're going to do like Switch style, where there'll be a dock as well, so you can play it on the big screen? Do you think, because we know that they're going to do a physical console too, because Sarah Bond hinted the most powerful console ever is coming. So do you think that the next generation is going to be like Series X and S, but instead of that, it's going to be the super powerful console will be like the X, and then the handheld plus dock will be like the S? I think maybe that's what they might do.
I could see I could see that. Like, I know this wouldn't happen, but I would love to see a Series X type console where it's the more powerful just TV console, which it'll run all your games at 4K 60. Like, it's going to be a monster of a fucking console. Like, it'll be pro level, if not way higher, because obviously next gen they always like taking those huge leaps. So hopefully it's on that same level. But for the Series S version, the handheld, I would love if it was a hybrid like the Switch, where
Mhm.
if you have it unplugged, it's running at 1080 on the little screen or whatever. And but if you dock it, it adds that power. Like the Nintendo one, it's literally just a port to get it to the TV, basically. But if it was a dock that increased the power a little bit, and it was still not the X level strength, but stronger than a handheld on your TV, I think that would be fucking awesome. Like, just to know that, because everyone would know, anyone who's dumb enough to think like, oh, when it's on handheld, I still want it to be as powerful as the TV. It's like, that's never going to happen. You're never going to have it as powerful as an actual console.
Mm-mm.
So it would be cool if it was hybrid, in the sense that it's weaker in handheld, but when you dock it, it's a more powerful console that's maybe not as high as the highest, but better. And so that's what I would like. But my guess is it would be that it's going to be the X and S, where it's handheld or TV kind of thing. I think that's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yep, we will see, but I think it's exciting. I'm not a
Oh
huge
yeah.
handheld guy myself, but I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
If I worked in an office, I would be a lot a lot more into it. I'd be like, yeah, I could bring
Yeah.
my console with me.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I'm not a only handheld gamer, but it is a really nice like I used to have a backbone when I had the iPhone that had the lightning port rather than the USB-C, which it has now, thankfully. Back when so I had a backbone and I just did PlayStation and Xbox just streaming. I did the not the streaming, the where you pair to, oh my god, I can't think of
Remote
what it's
play?
called. Remote play. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I did that on my backbone a lot, and it was awesome because it was just it's handheld to me is a secondary thing. Like if you want to watch a game or a movie or a TV show, you just want something on the TV, but you also want a game. It's nice to have the little handheld option because I'd rather do that than which I do a lot, where I'm playing a game and I have my iPad next to me or whatever with the TV, like, and
Mhm.
so that works. But I prefer the TV with holding a handheld and playing a game. So it's always been a secondary to me, and that's what it would be if they do what they're saying. I'm probably gonna have both because I'm gonna want the option to have the powerful console, but then handheld, it's going to be much less played. Like my ROG Ally, I don't play it nearly as much as anything else, or my Switch really. But it's nice to have if you do want to play handheld. And it's just, yeah, people, unless you are a only handheld gamer, it's going to be a secondary item, probably. So
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and transition into the games now. That was the last part of Stevie's question where he said,
yeah.
Xbox games going to PlayStation. Let's get into that. So, what we are Xbox fans. We've played almost all these games, if not all these games. What games should PlayStation fans, Sony ponies out there, what games should they really be interested in, and what games must they check out? What would you say, Hodge? What do you
Yeah, I
think?
mean, let's obviously start with the big one, Halo. When that does it, when he said there's no red line or red tape or whatever he said, that was confirmation that Halo is going
Mhm.
to PlayStation. Because otherwise, he would have said, "No, we want to keep the legacies on our console, and we want to keep." The Xbox fan base, happy with and then all that PR bullshit is what he would have said. But instead of saying there's no red line, he kicked down the door. Everything will be coming to PlayStation eventually. And so
Mhm.
Halo is the biggest one. I hope they do just bring Master Chief Collection because, dude, if they brought that with, it would probably have like 6 separate platinums for each Halo game. It would have 500 fucking trophies. It would be a dream for the PlayStation fans, especially. Nope, there's no play. I mean, PlayStation fans can shit on Halo 5 as Xbox fans do because that game's terrible. Or they can shit on Infinite, which I actually love. They dropped the ball at launch, but I actually really do love Infinite. I think it's a
Mhm.
fantastic game. And PlayStation fans would finally get to see Infinite at where it's at now. They're going to get a completed game with a shit ton of like
Maps and
there's
stuff.
honestly
Yeah.
too many maps in Halo Infinite now, but they're going to get a completed game, and then we can finally end the stupid console war of, oh, well, Halo sucks. It's like, no, it doesn't. You know it doesn't. You're just being petty because it's not on your console. And so when it's on PlayStation, everyone can finally enjoy it, and there's going to be a huge boost. I guarantee the Master Chief Collection would be at the top of the PlayStation charts for
Oh,
months. It would be
100%.
Call of Duty level on PlayStation. And yeah, so that's the biggest one, that especially the original trilogy. If for some fucking reason you didn't have a 360 and didn't play it, then you could finally get to the Halo trilogy, which is one of, if not the best trilogies in video games. And so I would love, that's obviously the big one that I want to see that everyone enjoy when it comes to PlayStation.
Yeah, Halo definitely would be gangbusters on PlayStation. It would
Mm-hmm.
sell tens, 20s, 30s of millions of copies.
Yeah,
If they brought
without
the
doubt.
Master Chief Collection, and if they do, like you said, and there's a platinum trophy for each game, PlayStation fans love platinums. I love platinums. Everyone loves
Yeah,
platinums.
I don't even
Dude,
go for them that much, but I love
that
them.
would be huge.
Yeah.
That would be so big. And Halo is an amazing series. Halo literally carried the Xbox for many a years on its own, on its back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's great. And Halo Infinite is an awesome game too. It's really good. And if that game came over to PlayStation, I think PlayStation gamers would finally feel what a great shooter is, because they
Yeah.
haven't had one. They haven't had one besides what Call of Duty, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be awesome. And I hope I kind of almost hope they do it. because I
Yeah.
mean they've already committed that they're going multi-platform. It's official, so there's no more defending the plastic. The plastic is gone. It's in the back seat now.
Yeah.
So let's just bring these great games over and let the PlayStation Nation here. I got my edge here. We're
Yeah.
always edging.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him
Forever
have
edging.
it, man. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, because Phil, he literally said like he mentioned Halo in the very next sentence. He said there's no red lines, and then he said it's too early to make a determination on the next Halo, which means that there's a good chance that the next Halo will come to PlayStation.
Yeah,
Uh,
my guess is for a while they're gonna do Xbox for 6 months or whatever, or a year, and then PlayStation, just
mhm,
because they're gonna want to get
that's fair.
people into it. But I do think eventually everything is going to be day and date. I'd be shocked if anything ever stays even part-time exclusive after at this point, because right now Xbox, especially after seeing the success of the ones they did bring over, especially Sea of Thieves, and apparently
Hmm.
Hi-Fi Rush didn't do super well, I'm not sure, but
Not sure.
just seeing the success of the ones Pentiment and all that coming over, they're definitely seeing like, oh, there's a lot of people there and we need that money. So I have a feeling eventually they will be full third party. But
Yeah, and shout out by the way to Pentiment. You just mentioned it. That is another game that's already on PlayStation, but I just want to recommend it again because it's so good.
mm,
PlayStation fans and Xbox fans, if you haven't played Pentiment yet, if you like narrative games, check it out. It's amazing.
yeah. But yeah, other
Next game.
games, yeah, I would say then obviously the next big one is Gears of War.
Mhm.
This one, I don't think there's as much of like people aren't foaming at the mouth to get this one on PlayStation. I think it would do well. It would probably sell a couple mil, especially the original trilogy. I'm not sure how well 4 and 5 have done, but I know people love them, but I haven't even played them yet.
Mm.
Um, but the original trilogy, I think it would sell also purely from nostalgia, because a lot of people who are on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, they probably were Xbox kids back in the day because the 360 dominated that gen. So I'm sure so many people on PlayStation be like, oh, I can finally get back to those. Like, I gave up on Xbox, 10 years ago, but I can finally get back and play a game that I grew up loving. And so I'm sure Gears of War would sell well, especially that. And then E-Day, I'm guessing it'll probably be an Indiana Jones thing where it would
Mhm.
come to Xbox, and then next year it's going to be on PlayStation too. So yeah, I think that would be a huge one, but just not obviously as big as Halo.
Not nearly as big. Yeah, Gears is great. I played Gears 2 heavy, heavy, heavy. Like, but for whatever reason, I kind of fell off after that. I played 3 just a little bit. Didn't really play much 4 or 5. Is there a 6? I don't even know. I basically dropped it. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
I
there's
don't
a 6.
I don't think so.
I think 5 was the lead. Yeah, Gears 5 is the most recent one,
Yeah.
and then Hive Busters, the expansion, which I heard was great, and
Yeah.
graphically is gorgeous. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, Gears, bring it all over. Fuck it, who cares? It's over.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
over. It's never been
Yeah.
more over.
And
But
I
hey,
mean, we've had
gamers win though.
yeah, we've had the discussion on this before of like it kind of disincentivized people from wanting to have an Xbox, because what's the point if it's all going to be on PlayStation? You might as well, consolidate onto
Mhm.
one console. But at the same time, it's obvious Xbox doesn't care. So why should we just play the games? I mean, we're agnostic gamers, put every game everywhere. Obviously, Sony's not going to. Nintendo sure as
Mhm.
fuck ain't going to. So it's whatever. I mean, the only issue, other than like we said, the disincentivizing of ecosystem you've already put so much time into, which does suck, is the only reason people give a shit is because it's bait for console warring. And who fucking cares if the PlayStation wins, quote unquote, the console war? Who cares? Fucking enjoy the games you want to play. It doesn't matter what box it's on.
Facts.
But yeah, but at the same time, like I said, we do understand that it's kind of a shot in the arm for people who have put their time into Xbox, but
Oh
they're
yeah,
still going to be there.
I was very upset when it first
Yeah.
came out, just because I'm like, well, what about my digital library that I built up over all these years? Now it's going to slowly fade away and not matter because your plastic will not matter as much. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
But
And
at the end of the day, I mean, if more gamers can enjoy these great games, I mean, that's a win. And like we mentioned before, Hodge, and like Stevie mentioned, I think Xbox Steam could be their Trojan horse if they can get talk to Gabe, if they can get Steam native on their hardware, that gives people a reason to buy your hardware because now you have this affordable console device that can play Steam and Xbox and Game Pass. That's a value proposition. That's a
yeah,
banger.
And I remember they had an interview a while ago where Phil Spencer straight up said, like, we would love to have stuff like Steam on our platform. Like
Hmm.
he said it. Like, so it's definitely something that they're gonna want to look into. Especially Gabe don't give a fuck. Steam is shitting money because of how successful it is. So if he's like, yeah, people want to buy our games on Xbox, I don't give a shit. Like, put it on Xbox. I want that.
Yeah,
I doubt they'd care.
I don't know if he would go for it or not, but I mean, it'd be awesome if he did. I mean, they would make money. They would get a cut. I don't know what the splits would be. I don't know if it would be 50-50
Yeah,
or
who knows?
whatever, but yeah, they would get a cut of every single game that's sold on, I mean, it's Steam. They
Yeah,
would probably get the majority cut. They'd probably get 60-40 or 70-30 even because you're
yeah.
buying games on Steam. So yeah,
Hmm.
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the next game, which let's get into Forza. All right, we got the burger,
Yeah.
fries, and shake, Halo, Gears, and Forza. Shout out
Yeah.
Lord Cognito and Maddie. Forza's awesome. I would actually really love to see Forza Horizon, excuse me, 5, go over to PlayStation because I didn't play that game because I'm not a huge racer guy, but I wanted to play that game. Even though I'm not
Yeah.
a racer, I really wanted to play it because it looks gorgeous, it looks fun. And I think the PlayStation audience, especially people who like racers, would really love that.
Yeah. And I think Xbox is, I mean, all the shit people give Microsoft, they're really good at like upresing games for the tech it's on. So I would be very curious as to what Forza would look like on the PS5 Pro. I feel
Hmm.
like that would run beautifully
Hmm.
if they prioritized that hardware. And that would be sweet. And I know PlayStation has Gran Turismo, but I'm pretty sure anyone who's played both, it's pretty unanimous that Forza Horizon is way better than why did I just blank on the Gran Turismo? I'm pretty sure that's the case. I could be wrong. I'm not a racing person. I've played Forza because when it was announced, I wanted just to see how gorgeous it looked on the Series X or when it launched. And it's a beautiful game. But the um I just my train of thought just derailed. But yeah, I want to see Forza on PlayStation just to kind of see what it would look like on the Pro more than anything.
Yeah, so with Forza, there's two versions of Forza. There's Forza Motorsport, which is like the sim racer where you're like
Mhm.
going around tracks, and
Is it?
that is the direct competitor to Gran Turismo. Because Gran
Okay.
Turismo is not an open world racer; it's a track racer, like sim racer,
Oh,
just
okay.
like Motorsport is. So those two kind of directly compete. And as for which one's better, I don't know. They're both great.
Mhm.
I think Forza is probably slightly more critically acclaimed. And more loved, but they're both really strong. But Horizon is its own thing. That's the open world game. That's the one where you get to drive around all of the UK in 4, and you get to drive around all of Mexico. Not literally, but a lot of it
Yeah.
in 5. And it's like you drive around a big open world map, and then you go to like events and races, and you win money and you upgrade and buy cars and stuff. And it's really cool in that
Hmm.
regard.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know
And they
that
don't
much
have
about
that.
those. So.
Gran Turismo doesn't do that. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know
um,
too much about those games, so I just know that they're beloved in the
mhm,
racing community. I know that those are like the peak racing
mhm.
games. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
How about we talk about really quickly Fable,
yes.
because that has always been a notorious just Xbox game. I'm not too. I played Fable 1 and 2 way back in the day. It's been forever since I've even touched Fable, so you're probably
Mhm.
the bigger expert on it than me. But seeing that on PlayStation would be huge for people who want another great RPG series. So, would you think they'd bring the old ones, or do you think they're just going to bring Playgrounds to the console?
Well, they should bring the old ones. In my opinion, they should port the old Fable games to PlayStation because those games are phenomenal. And kind of going with the topic, the games that PlayStation gamers should play, they should absolutely play Fable. Fable 1, 2, and 3 are all incredible. 2 is the best. For sure, 2 is freaking amazing. That game is just a whole vibe. It's a whole experience. I've talked about it. You got your dog, you got fun combat, you got choices. You can be good, you can be evil, you can own land, you can charge the shit out of them for rent, or you can not, or you can be nice and be reasonable. You can have multiple wives. You can do all kinds of fun stuff, dude. It's really cool. It's like an immersive sim RPG almost. It's really awesome. Yeah. they should port all 3 Fable games over to PlayStation at some point. Maybe do like a remastered trilogy pack would be cool.
Yeah, that would be
They kind
awesome.
of already have, but
I
they
mean,
could
they
touch it
can.
up a little more.
Yeah, and the cool thing is they could. I mean, obviously this probably isn't happening, but they could release it before Fable, the new one, comes out, and just have a trilogy pack on Game Pass or on PlayStation that you
Hmm.
could enjoy, get really into that world, and get back into it before the Playground one launches. But probably not happening. But that would be cool if they did do that.
Yeah. And the new Fable is one of my most anticipated games. I hope this game's going to be amazing. And yeah, I'm sure they should bring that to PlayStation too. 6 months or a year after it comes to Xbox, whatever they do. Why not? That's going
Yeah.
to be a great game. I think. What other games do we think the PlayStation gamers should play from the
Well,
Xbox catalog?
in terms of, I think there's like the big five from Microsoft right now, and we've talked about four of them. And the fifth one, this is another one where I just want to know what the Pro would do with it. Is Flight Sim. I
Mm,
like it's a game I put some time into. Just it was fun to fly over, like do the route of like here's my hometown to this area, like doing that kind of shit was fun. But it's not like a game I'm gonna throw 100 hours into. But I would just love to see because it looks gorgeous on the Series X. I would love to see what the Pro could
mhm.
do with that. And there's no reason Microsoft Flight Sim should be an Xbox exclusive. Like I mean,
Yeah.
and it was PC exclusive actually for a while, but there's no way, there's no reason, like no one is being like, I bought my Xbox for Flight Sim because that's the best exclusive. Like it should go, it's like a Minecraft. It should go anywhere anyway. So that's just kind of one I would love to see on PlayStation just to see how it performs on the Pro. But
Hmm.
that's kind of like the other big one. But before, I mean, I'll let you say, throw your bid on there, but then there's just four other games that aren't like the big Microsoft games that I want to talk about that could finally make their way to PlayStation. But before that, what else? You have anything to say about Flight Sim?
Yeah, Flight Sim is a no-brainer, I think, to go over to PlayStation, get a bigger audience, get more people
Mm-hmm.
playing it.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous game. As far as how it would perform on the Pro, I'm not sure that it would perform much better because, as I understand it, I think the main thing holding back Flight Sim is the CPU. I think it's a
Oh, okay.
CPU limited game because it has to compute and load all these maps and everything.
Yeah.
And the CPU is not much upgraded at all on the Pro, but
Okay.
it might look a little better graphically. They might be able to touch up the graphics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's an awesome no-brainer choice, especially the new one coming, Flight Sim 2024. I've talked about this in the past, how I'm kind of excited how they added jobs and stuff, how you can do like little missions like mountain rescue and air ambulance and freight and stuff. And that
Yeah.
might be fun.
Didn't they add like the helicopter where you go over like the forest fires and put out the fires and shit too, like that kind of rescue
I think
stuff?
so. Hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah,
California
again,
Simulator.
yeah,
Just
yeah, and you
kidding.
have to fly all the homeless people to other states.
It's a very
Uh,
serious topic. Hopefully
yeah,
everyone's safe. But yeah.
yeah. But yeah, the other ones I want to talk about that I guess Perfect Dark. Well, because Perfect Dark was a Nintendo game first, wasn't it? Like it was an
Yeah, back in the
N64
day.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that's one. It's not, because it's a rare, isn't it? Rare, I guess. Who did it? So that's more of a,
Originally.
yeah. So it's not super. It's not like an Xbox legacy game. It's just that most of the games came out on Xbox eventually. So it'd be cool if Perfect Dark made its way over to just because there's really no point in that game staying exclusive. And obviously the new one, it won't be, as we talked about, nothing's exclusive anymore. So it would be cool to see Perfect Dark. And then quickly we can kind of talk about them. Killer Instinct, I know that's only Xbox and PC. Just a fighting game on PlayStation. I'm sure the fighting community would love it. I've heard good things about Killer Instinct. It's not Mortal Kombat, but I've heard good about it. And then two that aren't PlayStation Studios, but they just own the IP. I believe. I believe they own Quantum Break, which is Remedy's game, as everyone knows. It was an exclusive to Xbox One, so I think Xbox does own that IP, and which is why it hasn't made its way. But might as well. Every other Remedy game, even Alan Wake, the first one, went to PlayStation. So I think Quantum Break is good enough that they could do that. They could port it because Quantum Break is a fantastic game. It's so
Mhm.
underrated. It
Mhm.
just came out during peak hatred of Xbox, and so everyone should play it. And then also Sunset Overdrive, which the studio is owned by Sony. So they might as well free up the IP and allow a remaster on PlayStation because Sunset Overdrive is a fantastic game, which you can see the seeds of Spider-Man in that game with the movement. It is so fucking good. And I could easily see them doing a fucking remastered version of it where it goes on to PlayStation, because Insomniac is owned by Sony and Xbox is wanting to go third party. It makes perfect sense to open up that IP and allow PlayStation to have it. So
Mhm.
those are the other like little games. So any of those you want to kind of touch on, but those are kind of the ones I was thinking.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Perfect Dark. That would be cool. Bring that over to PlayStation as well. Why not? Funny enough, with Perfect Dark, I don't know if you saw this. I'm sure you did. But the creative director from Insomniac left. That he was working on, I think, Wolverine, I
Oh
believe.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
left there and he went over to work on Perfect Dark. He's now with the
yeah,
initiative. So that's a pretty big hire.
yeah,
They got Crystal Dynamics and they got the small team over at the initiative with now this new creative director from Insomniac. Hopefully they can land the plane, if you will, to steal a
yeah.
defining Duke term. Perfect Dark, we'll see if that's a good game. I got my hopes up.
I mean,
Sunset Overdrive, I never played. If they do like a remaster, I'll probably definitely play it. What's funny about that, like you mentioned, it was developed by Insomniac, right, which is now a PlayStation studio.
mm-hmm.
I wonder if Microsoft could go to PlayStation and be like, "Hey, we want to bring Sunset Overdrive over. Um, let's get together. Like, let's us, and maybe you can loan us like a handful of people from Insomniac to work on this PlayStation port. Maybe Insomniac could actually help a little bit with the remaster and the port for PlayStation since it was their game, and they could be like a nice big like upres." Slightly upres version launching on PlayStation with
Yeah,
official support and touch from Insomniac. I think that'd be cool.
yeah, that'd be sweet. I mean, obviously the only reason why I'm thinking, obviously plans can change, but when we saw the leak, they showed like Insomniac's roadmap, and it
Yeah.
did not include Sunset Overdrive, surprisingly. But now that Microsoft had, because for a while I remember they were saying like when Starfield was out, it's like it is exclusive, it's staying on Xbox, it ain't going fucking anywhere, so stop asking. And then obviously the CEO of Microsoft was like, no, that's not true, and so they've changed their tune. And since their tune has changed, maybe they have reached out to Insomniac and be like,
Mm-hmm.
we could do this. We're going to your system anyway, so let's do
Yeah,
it.
Insomniac. Sorry, yeah, they're really busy. But that's why I said
Mhm.
just like a handful of people. Maybe they could just cut off like 5 people and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
work with these people. Let's get the Sunset Overdrive port going. Get it optimized. Get it upres slightly. Get it beautiful."
Yeah.
I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah,
Killer
definitely.
Instinct. So this game, supposedly is really good, but kind of has dried up because it's only on Xbox and it's old. If they launch this game on Switch and PlayStation, that would be like a whole new breath of life. Tons of new players. I think that would be a no-brainer. Quantum Break. I didn't play Quantum Break when it came out on the Xbox One, but it was one of the first games that I played on my Series X. When I got the Series X, I was looking for stuff to play, got on Game Pass. I was like, let me play Quantum Break. And yeah, this game was fun. It was a good game. It's not a masterpiece or anything. It's a little bit
Yeah.
janky at times, but I did have a lot of fun. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the TV show even. I was a
Hmm.
little disappointed that there wasn't a final TV show episode. I was
Yeah.
wanting one more because like they ended every chapter with a TV show episode, but the final chapter there was no TV show, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn
And the final boss in that game fucking sucks.
it.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. I think
But
yeah,
it's
it
an
was
amazing,
annoying.
but yeah, it's an amazing story. And like, I mean, obviously I'm a fucking stand for Remedy,
Oh yeah, you are.
but it is overhated. It's probably Remedy's worst game. Like I prefer Alan Wake and Control over Quantum Break, but that does not make it a bad game. The powers are
Hmm.
insanely fun. The gameplay is super just it's pretty it's just good. I love it. But yeah, it's everyone should I would hope that they would bring that one back. But with Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break, my only worry is that I feel like they were never the hits that they wanted them to be, and so they might just be like, there's no point going back to these. Like, just let them die. They're done. So that's my worry with it. But if they did,
Hmm.
that's my fucking wish list of Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break to PlayStation, because those ones are great. And then obviously the big five we talked about. But
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing with a lot of these smaller games. They may not sell like gangbusters. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually thinking like for Quantum Break or Sunset Overdrive, maybe they could even work out a deal where it's like a PlayStation Plus game or something.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
Sunset,
so
I
that
think
way more audience.
Yeah, I think they could sell Sunset purely because if they market it like these are the guys that brought
It's
you
Insomniac.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
yeah, having Insomniac's name, that might be enough to get at least a couple mil. I mean, if they sell 2 million copies of it, that's still a success for a port. Like, so yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think they could easily, do that. Wait, I have a question for you. You might know this. Did Dead Rising any of them ever go to PlayStation?
I don't know that. I'm not sure.
Because
I remember
okay,
that Dead Rising 3 or whatever was like an Xbox One game, right?
yeah, that was an Xbox One launch game because I remember it was
Dead
insane because they
Rising
showed how many
PlayStation.
zombies could be on screen with the power of the Xbox One, and so
It did.
that was cool. But oh, they did go to PlayStation. Okay,
Oh yeah, it did. Dead Rising 2, 3, etc. I see
okay,
PlayStation.
I wasn't sure. All right, then yeah, because I didn't include on the list because I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. So Dead Rising is, and I'm guessing that DR game, probably the Dead Rising digital remaster, whatever the fuck that one was called, the one that just came out. I'm pretty sure that one went to PlayStation also, I would guess. But
What
yeah.
about one of our favorite games ever, Rise Son of Rome? That was second party, wasn't it?
Oh, I
Put that on PlayStation. I don't think it ever came over there. That's an
no,
awesome game.
it definitely didn't. But there's no way that happens because it was such a dud. Like to most people, even though the gameplay,
We love it.
yeah, the gameplay was very mediocre. It was very repetitive, but the story was so fucking good. I would love to see it, but yeah, there's no chance in hell it goes to PlayStation. They're gonna let that one just. We'll put that one off in the closet. We don't fuck that game. So even though I
Yes,
I
sir.
would love that, but yeah.
Are there any other games that are Xbox games that need to go over to PlayStation that we forgot? I'm trying to
Did
think.
I know they went to Switch? Did the Ori games go to PlayStation?
I'm not sure, but
Because Ori would be sweet on PlayStation as well, because those games are fantastic. I know they're not owned by Xbox, or I think they are just signed. I can't remember what the deal is with those, but yeah, it'd be sweet if Ori came to PlayStation also, because those games are absolutely fantastic. If they're not already, I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention, but yeah, that's the only other one I can really think of off the
I
top
th-
of my head.
I think it did go to PlayStation. I just Googled it. There's a random video that seems to be comparing the Xbox One and PS4 version. So I'm going to assume that
Oh,
it's
okay,
probably on PlayStation, but
okay,
don't 100% quote us. All right.
that's
We don't
okay.
know. We don't know.
I'm
We're
not
just
in
two
this
idiots
industry.
talking
Yeah.
about games, you know?
Yeah, I'm not in this industry. I don't know shit. I just like talking video games. But
All
yeah,
right. Well,
yeah,
I think this is pretty good. I don't know. I'm satisfied.
yeah,
What do you think? Anything we missed? Any final thoughts on this topic?
yeah. I mean, just like we just kind of a summary of it. It does suck that Xbox is kind of thrown in the towel and just saying like, I mean, it's smart business decision. I can't complain, especially with how bloated budgets on games get now. Like it's obvious that they need as much money as they can. So it does suck that exclusivity is ending if you are in the Xbox ecosystem. Like I understand, I have I think a gamer score of 150,000 or something like that. I have a pretty, so it really does suck that, like, it's funny to say that, oh, now it's rendered meaningless, but it was always meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. anything. I just like getting achievements because it adds to the game. But it
Yeah.
does suck to put that much time in. And like you said, the digital library, putting that much time into a console, as long as Xboxes still exist and we get to keep our libraries, I'll be happy. But
Yeah.
because the console war part of it, I don't fucking care. I like all three consoles. I've always liked all three consoles. I'm gonna play what I play. But like I've said, the Elite 2 is my favorite controller of all time. And I prefer the Xbox UI, party system, all that. I've always preferred Xbox. My friends all play on Xbox because they're all casuals. And so I plan on keeping it how I've always had it, where I play everything on Xbox, and PlayStation, Nintendo are my exclusives machines. And that's what I'll continue to do, probably as long as Xbox doesn't drop the, because if they announce like it's going to be some shitty console that isn't any better, then I'm not going to blindly give them money. But if it's like what we said, where it's a really powerful console and a handheld, you'll bet your ass I'll have those. But
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
If they're smart, they'll get Steam on there on the next one.
yeah,
That would be their Trojan horse to make their console super relevant. All of
yeah.
a sudden, people would instantly be like, "I can grab this box for $600 or whatever it is, and it's super powerful. It's like a little PC, and I can play Steam and Xbox games and Game Pass." Dude, that's a banger.
Or if you get your Prime
And
games
the
on there,
handheld,
if they have
yeah.
the
Oh yeah,
Prime
Prime would be
games,
cool.
yeah.
Shout out to Death
I
Store on
I
Prime.
really do think that's what Microsoft is going to want to do. Is they're going to want to go more down a PC centric, but it's like I said, it just has to have a UI that's not a Windows fucking
Yeah,
computer.
we don't want Windows. No one
Yeah,
wants Windows.
no
You
one
want
wants it.
Windows when you're working, but you don't want that
Yeah.
when you're playing games. You know?
Which it's not like that's Microsoft's fault because the ROG Ally is not a Microsoft fucking product. It's just it has Game Pass on it. So I think Microsoft will be smart enough that they're like, no, it's going to be an Xbox UI. It's an Xbox handheld. It's not a PC handheld. If they're smart, which as we've seen lately, they might not be, but but still, Santa Bucky agrees.
All right, let's bring it home. I think this has been a really fun, awesome topic.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of our listeners. Shout out to our write-ins, Meatball, GJ, and Stevie. We appreciate you all. Let's go ahead and get up out of here. Hodge, final thoughts, episode 21, sir. What you got?
I was going to try and think of some weird quirk like Sean does at the end of every episode, but I couldn't think of anything. So I'm just going to say I love it. Love it. I mean, as dumb as Xbox has been in recent years, I still love my cons. I still love my Series X. I loved my Xbox One. I love my 360. I love Xbox, and it does suck seeing them kind of fail just for the health of the console industry even. So it does suck, but I love my Xbox. I love my PlayStation. I love my Switch. It's just I love games and I love talking to them. So, but it's always fun doing a console exclusive kind of episode. I should say as we say. But yeah, that's all from me.
Absolutely. Well said, my friend. I agree and echo with pretty much everything you said. I think, it does suck, of course, but at the same time, for gamers, it is exciting. Like we were talking about earlier, how exciting it is that Xbox gamers can finally play Death Stranding. I would share the same excitement for PlayStation gamers to finally be able to play Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Master Chief. It would be just a moment and a vibe, and it would be really fun. So I think ultimately gamers are winning, so that's good. Life will go on. The Series X is a beautiful, fantastic console. We've talked about it before. It's just a solid, sexy brick of whisper quiet power. I love it. And I was just thinking, I'm just going to probably keep my Series X forever. I got my whole library. I got all my backwards compatible. Why not? Unless the next console is awesome, then maybe I'll just upgrade. But
yeah, I mean, well, that's the good thing about Xbox is that they have basically cemented everything will always be backwards compatible. So if the next console is great, it's powerful, then awesome, I can upgrade it and I'll still have my library. But if the next console's just, who gives a shit, then I have my Series X and I can still play my games at, what they were meant to play at. So it's fine either way.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, guys. This has been Games Over Plastic, episode number 21. Leave a like, leave a comment. I should have said this way earlier in the show, but this was a freestyle episode. But leave a write-in or two, write down in the comments. Leave a write-in for the next show, and you might appear on the show like GJ, Stevie, and Meatball did. But we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Everybody, have a great day. Be great. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.
T-Max is a Y operation. No, that's what Sean said last time. We miss you, Sean. Peace out, everyone.